Our temporary funding issues did not affect the quality or quantity of services we provided. We are preparing for our summer program that serves over 100 youth ages 5 to 13 at Victor and Ellis through June and July. We partner with the school district to provide a consistent program where children can access food for breakfast and lunch. All of our teachers are ready to return for the third year, and it is our hope that a foundation can continue to fund this crucial program for youth in the summer. Our Young Women of Purpose program is also thriving. The coordinator has been effective in leading this group and assisting them in creating and reaching goals, providing meaningful community service projects, and teaching life skills. I personally met with Micah Bunch from the Chamber to discuss potential board candidates, board development, and possible funding contacts. Our board has met multiple times to develop plans and is being very thoughtful about our next steps. We submitted all local grants we usually apply for and are contacting previous and new donors looking for best practices to diversify our budget. We realize this will take some time, but we are actively working on this. We held our first fundraiser of the year, a run for St. Patrick's Day. At this event, we recruited 2 potential board members. Our future fundraisers include a glow run in August, a historical tour in early November, and stewarding donors for match day throughout the year. In addition, we are working with representatives from Garden City High School to increase formal opportunities for students. Because our mentoring program offers high school students so many relevant job skills, they have included us in a potential leadership class they have plans to add for fall. This will ensure juniors and seniors who want to volunteer to be a big brother or big sister can participate during school hours and receive credit for it. This is beneficial for those students as well as the ones they are mentoring. If the high school big volunteers continue their education at Garden City Community College, the matches have the potential to provide that consistent support for their littles for up to 4 years. The additional AFAC funding we received in December to expand high school mentoring programs provided the local support needed to leverage additional future outside funding from the TB Foundation. These efforts allowed us to serve 319 local youth ages 5 to 17 in 2025. We currently have 91 matches, 35 girls in our Young Women of Purpose, after-school leadership, and career development program, and are expecting over 100 youth for our summer program. The board and staff are committed to the children in our community and are diligently taking extra time to make this successful. Please feel free to contact me with any additional questions or concerns. I just wanted to update you. I appreciate everything that you guys did to help us out, and I just wanted to give you that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else for public comment? Hello.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Lana Duvall, President and CEO of Kenny County Economic Development Corporation. I want to begin by acknowledging that anytime we're considering large economic development projects, the community often has questions, and that's understandable, especially when projects are highly visible and involve issues like water, land use, and the future of our community. It's natural for people to ask hard questions, and they should. The public has every right to ask questions, to seek clarity, and to expect transparency. That's part of a healthy public process, and it should be respected. Kenny County Economic Development Corporation continues to support a disciplined, fact-based approach to all projects. Our role is not to give any developers a blank check. Our role is to help ensure projects are responsibly cited, carefully negotiated, and aligned with Kenny County's long-term community vision and goals, including protection of our long-standing agricultural economy, local infrastructure, stewardship of water, and respect for private property rights. We continue to ask for accountability through development agreements and outcomes that strengthen the region for current and future residents. It's also important for community members to recognize the broader policy realities surrounding the digital infrastructure projects that we're hearing about. The current federal policy environment has made it clear that large-scale digital infrastructure and energy infrastructure are being treated as matters of economic competitiveness, technological leadership, and national security. In July of 2025, President Trump's administration stated that AI data centers and the infrastructure that powers them are essential to national security, economic prosperity, and scientific leadership. And they made rapid build-out of that infrastructure a federal priority. The administration's related fact sheets further stated that accelerating data center development is intended to strengthen America's global leadership, create jobs, and enhance national security. For that reason, the practical question before local leaders is not whether this type of infrastructure will be built. It will. The more important question is whether Finney County will help shape these projects according to our values and long-term interests, or whether this infrastructure will advance under outside pressure with less local influence over the siting, agricultural interests, infrastructure, water stewardship, and community benefit. Finney County Economic Development's position remains that local governments are best served by staying engaged, setting clear expectations, and using the tools available to ensure these projects fit our community's vision rather than stepping aside and surrendering that influence. I want to make clear that our community's agricultural foundation matters. Agriculture is not just part of the economy, it's part of who we are. It's helped build this community, sustain this community, and define this community for generations. Nothing about these conversations should be interpreted as a dismissal of that legacy or of our continued commitment to honoring and supporting our agricultural base. At the same time, it's important that these discussions remain grounded in facts. One of the biggest areas of confusion right now is the difference between water rights and actual water usage. Those are not the same thing. The existence of water rights on a property does not mean that a future project will use the full amount of those rights. It doesn't mean that all of that water will suddenly be pumped or consumed. What matters is the project's actual operating design, its projected usage, and the conditions that will be placed on it through the review process. That distinction is important because some of the public discussion has presented water rights in a way that makes it sound as though a project would automatically consume the entire value associated with the property. That is simply not an accurate way to consider this. It's also important for the public to understand that no project of this nature simply appears without review or accountability. Any project will go through a public review process. That process exists for a reason. It is there so that questions can be asked, impacts can be studied, conditions can be imposed, and developers can be held to clear standards. That includes review related to land use, infrastructure, water, roads, compatibility, and the long-term interests of our community. In other words, this is not a situation where the community is being asked to accept something without scrutiny. Quite the opposite. The process is specifically designed to ensure that scrutiny. That is why it's so important for all of us to rely on facts rather than rumors. Facts matter, actual projected usage matters, the public process matters, conditions of approval matter, engineering matters, and data matters. Rumors, assumptions, and incomplete information may travel quickly, but they are not a sound basis for public decision-making. Our community will be best served if we continue to ask good questions, insist on clear answers, and evaluate these projects based on verified information rather than unfounded claims or speculation. So just as we ask our governing bodies to approach these issues with discipline, care, and commitment to the facts, we also ask the public to do the same. Ask questions, stay engaged, participate in the process, but please let facts, not rumors, guide the discussions. The public deserves honesty, elected officials deserve clarity, and this process deserves the discipline of facts. We don't serve the public well when we allow the rumors to outrun reality. We serve the public well when we separate speculation from data, when we insist on a full public review, and when we make decisions based on facts instead of fear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lena. Are there any further public comment? No. Seeing none, we can move on to item 6.
Item 6, the governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim April 6th through 10th, 2026 as Property and Evidence Professionals Week in Garden City, Kansas.
Chief Pruitt will speak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What you have before you is consideration for approval for allowing the mayor to proclaim April 6 through 10, 2026 as Property and Evidence Professionals Week in Garden City, Kansas. Property and Evidence Professionals Week provides an opportunity to recognize the important work of personnel responsible for the intake, storage, preservation, tracking, release, and disposition of property and evidence. These duties are essential to maintaining the integrity of criminal investigations, preserving chain of custody, supporting court proceedings, and ensuring accountability in the handling of property. The Garden City Police Department observes Property and Evidence Professionals Week each year to acknowledge the professionalism, accuracy, and dedication of those who perform this critical behind-the-scenes function in support of public safety in the justice systems. The alternatives you have before you is, number one, the governing body may approve the proclamation as presented. Number two, the governing body may reject the proclamation. Staff recommendation is the governing body approve the proclamation. There's no fiscal note, and the proclamation is attached.
I will entertain a motion for this item.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
A second. Oh, go ahead.
There's been a
Commissioner
second
Landgraf.
by Commissioner Landgraf. Any further questions? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And I will read this proclamation here. Whereas property and evidence professionals serve an essential role in the criminal justice system by receiving, documenting, preserving, storing, releasing, and disposing of property and evidence in accordance with established laws, policies, and professional standards. And whereas the proper handling and safeguarding of property and evidence is critical to protecting the integrity of criminal investigations, maintaining the chain of custody, supporting the fair administration of justice, and preserving public trust in law enforcement and the courts. And whereas property and evidence professionals perform highly technical and often unseen work that demands integrity, precision, accountability, sound judgment, and a steadfast commitment to excellence. And whereas these professionals provide invaluable support to law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, defense counsel, the courts, and the community through their dedication and professionalism. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize and honor the service, expertise, and contributions of property and evidence professionals whose work is fundamental to the effective operation of the justice system. Now therefore I, Tom Nguyen, Mayor of the City of Garden City, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 6th through the 10th, 2026 as Property and Evidence Professionals Week in Garden City, Kansas, and encourages all residents to recognize the important contributions and dedicated service of property and evidence professionals. Signed and sealed the 7th day of April 2026. Tom Nguyen, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, if I can go off script just a little bit, thank you for the proclamation, but I'd also like to recognize Evidence Supervisor Casey Milligan for her years of service. This is something that we've been meaning to do, and this provides a great opportunity, not only for a photo op, but to recognize her for 25 wonderful years of service.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Join me for a photo down there, please.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, ready, Chief? Yep, we're all good. All right. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Do you guys want to do the years of
Does anyone
service?
want to recreate the years of service with Casey?
I will.
Pretend it's December and it's cold outside. You hold that up there, you hold that up there, that, all right.
1, 2, 3. All set?
All right. Thank you.
Pardon me. The governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim April 7th, 2026 as Garden City High School JROTC Program Day in honor of receiving the Honor Unit with Distinction Award.
I will entertain a motion for this item.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And I will read this proclamation here. Whereas the Garden City High School Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps, JROTC, program has earned the Honor Unit with distinction, the highest rating awarded by the United States Army for JROTC programs nationwide. And whereas this prestigious Gold Star designation places the Garden City unit among the top 10% of JROTC programs in the nation and reflects excellence in leadership, academics, and community service. And whereas this recognition follows a rigorous accreditation process, provides cadets with valuable opportunities, including consideration for ROTC scholarships and Service Academy nominations. And whereas the program's success is a direct result of the dedication and leadership of its instructors, Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Burr, First Sergeant Stephen Peterson, and Sergeant First Class Raylan Witzke. And whereas the Garden City High School JROTC program continues to grow as one of the largest in Kansas while strengthening leadership and service opportunities for local students. And now, therefore, I, Tom Nguyen, Mayor of the City of Garden City, Kansas, do hereby recognize and congratulate the Garden City High School JROTC program for earning the designation of Honor Unit with Distinction, Gold Star, and declare April 7th, 2026 as Garden City High School Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps Day, and commend its cadets and leadership for outstanding achievement and service to community. Signed and sealed the 7th day of April 2026. Tom Nguyen, Mayor. I know First Sergeant Stephen Peterson is here if you'd like to say anything about this.
First of all, members of the board, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for, considering these cadets and the work that they do. It's an amazing process that they go through, and as many of you sit here and go through your day-to-day routines and all the other things as we talked earlier about the Robert Rules of Orders and everything else that takes place with this, these guys that you see sitting here today are no different. They are actually your staff for our program. They run operations, they run logistics and supply, they run safety and security, they run public relations, and they are the ones, they are the backbone behind the 250 cadets and what they do in our program. So today, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations, guys.
Come on up.
For a photo here.
Go to the front.
Party time.
Except for you, Abby, I'm kidding.
Would you like to have to roll this with you?
I'm gonna have my son Landgraf right here. You got to do that. Yeah, you're fitting, man.
Okay. Everybody in?
Mhm.
1, 2. Yep. Thanks, guys.
Hold on.
Thank you, sorry. All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Item 6C, the governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim the week of April 7th through 14th, 2026 as Garden City High School Girls Wrestling Championship Week.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Coach Lappin, do you have anything to say for this item?
I guess. Thank you guys for having us. This group, can't say enough about them. We've got a couple that are missing today. One of our boys, state champions, is homesick, and one of our girls is stuck in a CNA class that she couldn't miss. But these kids have put in countless hours to reach the goals they've met. I think this season alone, we put on over 5,000 miles to go seek the best competition in the area. And when it came down to it, that mattered big time. And these guys showed up, and girls got their second state title, and Pace got his first individual state title. So it was awesome, awesome year.
Congratulations. I will read the proclamation. Whereas the Garden City High School Buffalo Girls Wrestling Team won the Kansas State Wrestling 6A Championship, this is the 13th wrestling championship win in Garden City High School history. And whereas Nicole Abrego in the 100-pound class earned the title of 2006 state champion, and whereas Marina Larrea in the 125-pound class earned the title of 2026 state champion, and whereas the 2026 state champions of Class 6A consisted of, at 100, Nicole Abrego, champion, 105, MJ Mraz, second place, and 110, Kyra Acosta, third place, 115, Crystal Era, second place, 120, Julissa Rodriguez, fourth place, 125, Marina Larrea, champion, 130, Aaliyah Garza, third place, 135, Kylie Huber, second place, 140, Reagan Meza McDermott, fifth place, 145, Aria Cortez, third place, and 155, Olivia Dunlap. And whereas the Garden City High School team also included a dedicated staff of head coach Paul Lappin, coaches Anthony Calderon, Kevin Perez, Tylee Biera, Joe Bach, Eli Copeland, Angie Serrano, and Jacob Waller. And now, therefore, I, Tom Nguyen, Mayor of the City of Garden City, Kansas, do take great pleasure in expressing the appreciation of the City Commission and all citizens of this community on this unique achievement, and hereby proclaim the week of April 7th through 14, 2026, as Garden City High School Girls Wrestling Championship Week, and call upon all citizens of our community to encourage our youth in their endeavors towards excellence in life. Signed and sealed the 7th day of April, 2026, Tom Nguyen, Mayor. Congratulations. Proclamation in front. Somebody want to hold that?
One more. Guys, because we got it. All right, ready? One. Ball scoot in. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Done.
Okay, we've got a few of the individual wrestling recognitions, Mayor. I think the first one up is 6D. The governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim April 7th, 2026 as Marina Luera Day in Garden City, Kansas.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Whereas to excel in any sport, you must demonstrate, in addition to natural ability, an outstanding spirit of dedication, enthusiasm, and hard work. And whereas the 125-pound 6A state championship was captured with a victory by fall at Blue Hawk Arena on February 28, 2026, and whereas junior Marina Larrea is to be commended for an outstanding season. Now, therefore, I, Tom Nguyen, Mayor of the City of Garden City, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 7th, 2026 as Marina Larrea Day in Garden City, Kansas, and urge all citizens to acknowledge and express their pride in your accomplishments and to encourage our youth in their endeavors towards excellence in life and show appreciation for your good sportsmanship. Signed and sealed the 7th day of April, 2026, Tom Nguyen, Mayor.
This is turning into a wrestling workout.
Yeah.
6E. The governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim April 8th, 2026 as Nicole Abrego Day in Garden City, Kansas.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Whereas to excel in any sport, you must demonstrate, in addition to natural ability, an outstanding spirit of dedication, enthusiasm, and hard work. And whereas the 100-pound 6A state championship was captured with a victory of 13-1 at Blue Hawk Arena on February 28, 2026, and whereas Junior Nicole Abrego is to be commended for an outstanding season. Now, therefore, I, Tom Nguyen, Mayor of the City of Garden City, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 8th, 2026 as Nicole Abrego Day in Garden City, Kansas, and urge all citizens to acknowledge and express their pride in your accomplishments and to encourage our youth in their endeavors towards excellence in life and show appreciation for your good sportsmanship. Signed and sealed the 7th day of April, 2026. Congratulations.
And Pace is here, so we'll do
Pace is here.
his. 6F, the governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim April 9th, 2026 as Pace Plankenhorn Day in Garden City, Kansas.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Whereas to excel in any sport, you must demonstrate, in addition to natural ability, an outstanding spirit of dedication, enthusiasm, and hard work. And whereas the 120-pound 6A state championship was captured with a victory of 13-4 at Blue Hawk Arena on February 28, 2026. And whereas Junior Pace Blankenhorn is to be commended for an outstanding season. Now, therefore, I, Tom Nguyen, Mayor of the City of Garden City, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 9th, 2026 as Pace Blankenhorn Day in Garden City, Kansas, and to urge all citizens to acknowledge and express their pride in your accomplishments and to encourage our youth in their endeavors towards excellence in life and show appreciation for your good sportsmanship. Signed and sealed the 7th day of April, 2026. Tom Nguyen, Mayor. Congratulations.
All right, congratulations.
The athletic director is kind of like the proud uncle at parties taking photos at the end.
Mayor and Commissioners, if we could go ahead and approve 6G, and then when there's a time that the mayor can meet up with Zach and present this either at another meeting here or somewhere at the school, we'll figure out
Make it
it. We'll
happen.
work with the school administration and figure that out. 6G, the governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim April 10th, 2026 as Zachary Long Day in Garden City, Kansas.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Congratulations, Zachary, Long from a far way away.
We're ready for item 6H. The governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim April 12th through 18th as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Garden City, Kansas.
The governing body is, I'm sorry, good afternoon. The governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim 12 through 18 April 2026 as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Garden City, Kansas. Since 1981, the United States has recognized National Public Safety Telecommunications Week as a time to honor the public safety telecommunicators who serve as the critical link between the community and emergency responders. This week recognizes the dispatchers, call takers, and communications personnel whose calm professionalism, quick thinking, and dedication are essential to protecting life and property. The Garden City Police Department annually recognizes these communications professionals during Public Safety Telecommunications Week for their vital role in supporting law enforcement, the fire service, and emergency medical services, and for the steady service they provide our community every day. Alternatives you have before you, the governing body may approve the proclamation as presented. Number 2, the governing body may reject the proclamation. It's staff recommendation that the governing body approve the proclamation, and just as a note, it will be read next week, so not read today. Thank you very much.
Mayor, I move that we approve the proclamation as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Item 6I, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Reverend Doris Evans, pastor, allowing the mayor to proclaim April 18th, 2026 as United Presbyterian Church Day in recognition of their 140 years of service in the community.
Reverend Doris is here. If you'd like to make some comments.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I just wanted to say, first off, 140 years here in Garden City. Wow. So the church was formed in 1886. This is a cute little fact that we are 2 years older than the city. So, and being such, we have, the church has played quite an important part in the growth of this city, from city management to businesses that are being owned to to a lot of other things, to a host of other things that has gone on with the city, as well as being a spiritual leader here. So not only civically minded, but also spiritually minded. And I just want to say that the church is going with 140 years of service and ministry to this community, and hope to do another 140 years here. So thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Doris. I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I would say, Reverend Doris, I think this is the great work of all of these members working together since the beginning of this church. And I think that's also important to note that this proclamation is not necessarily saying one church is better than the other, but saying of the incredible contributions that the church has provided to this entire community. And I think that is something worth celebrating and something valuable to note. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And I'll read this proclamation here. Whereas the United Presbyterian Church has been a steadfast presence in the Garden City community for 140 years, having first been established in 1886 in the downtown area, and whereas over the course of its long and faithful history, the congregation has worshiped and served from multiple locations within Garden City, including a move to 7th and Pine Street until a fire in 1986 led to the rebuilding of its current home at 1719 Texas Street. And whereas United Presbyterian Church has grown into a vibrant congregation of more than 70 members who continue to serve the community through faith, fellowship, and outreach. And whereas the church has demonstrated a strong commitment to community engagement, including hosting the Northeast Community Garden for the past 7 years, providing a space for connection, sustainability, and service. And whereas the United Presbyterian Church is an active member of the Ministerial Alliance and the Garden City Area Chamber of Commerce, reflecting its dedication to collaboration and civic involvement. And whereas the church has supported youth development through its longtime sponsorship of a Boy Scouts troop, helping shape generations of young leaders. And whereas former Pastor Dave Sweely contributed to the cultural fabric of the community by founding the beloved Tumbleweed Festival. which continues to bring people together in celebration. And whereas for 140 years, United Presbyterian Church has been a cornerstone of faith, service, and community spirit in Garden City, Kansas. Now, therefore, I, Tom Nguyen, Mayor of the City of Garden City, Kansas, encourage all citizens to recognize and celebrate the Church's 140 years of faithful service and lasting contributions to our community, and hereby proclaim of April 18, 2026 as United Presbyterian Church Day. Signed and sealed the 7th day of April 2026. Tom Nguyen, Mayor. Congratulations.
All right. Congratulations.
Pastor Doris, did you want to make a mention on the April 19th event that was in the packet too? Bring it up, okay? You're welcome to do so. Those to pass out?
Well, yes, because in celebration of our 140 years, we are having a special guest speaker come from Texas. He is a stewardship and development officer with our national church, and he will be here to deliver us a message for continuing on. For those who can appreciate Isaiah 43:18 and 19, this is God's about to do a new thing. And he will be talking about that on that day. We'll also have a ribbon cutting at 12 noon, and at 12:30, you're all invited. You just have to let me know you're coming. We're gonna have a big dinner. You know, it's a supper. So you're all invited to attend. Just, you know, shoot me an email or call the office and let us know you'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and Commissioners, item 6J, the governing body is asked to consider and approve allowing the mayor to proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in Garden City, Kansas. Casey.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Every year around Arbor Day, the Garden City Parks and Recreation Department, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and the Kansas Forest Service hold a tree planting ceremony at the School of the 5th Grade Arbor Day Poster Contest winner. The contest and ceremony educate and bring awareness to elementary school children the many benefits of planting and maintaining trees in our communities. Also, the City of Garden City will be recognized as a Tree City USA community for the 48th consecutive year. This year's tree planting event will take place at St. Dominic Catholic School on Monday, April 27th, 2026 at 2:00 p.m. To earn Tree City USA recognition, a city must uphold 4 core standards, including maintaining a tree board or department, having a community tree ordinance, spending at least $2 per capita on urban forestry, and participating in an Arbor Day celebration. The two alternatives before you today are: 1, the governing body may approve the request to proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day, or 2, the governing body may deny the request to proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board and staff recommend approving the request to proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day. There is no fiscal note, and I believe the proclamation will be read at the school on April 27th.
Correct. I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I make a motion we approve the proclamation as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Item 6K, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from the Parks and Recreation Department to allow under Code Section 6-1, possession, consumption, and sale of cereal malt beverages or alcoholic liquor at the Downtown Vision and Parks and Recreation Partnered event, Street Sizzle and Sound, on June 4th, 2026, from 6 to 10 p.m. during Beef Empire Days. Tisha.
First of all, I just wanted to say, wow, it's such an honor to live in a community with so much to celebrate. That was fantastic.
Yes.
Good afternoon. The Street Sizzle and Sound is a new event this year. Garden City Parks and Recreation was asked by Downtown Vision to partner with their organization for this Beef Empire Day event. It's scheduled for Thursday, June 4th from 6 to 10 p.m. It's set to be an exclusive and relaxed dinner and entertainment experience on Grant Avenue. Downtown Vision will sell tickets for the event at $50 each, which includes musical entertainment by up-and-coming country artist Kristen Arthurs, a steak, side dishes, and 3 cereal malt beverages per person. Water and iced tea are also available. Participants will have the opportunity to season and grill their own steaks at 2 grills monitored by pit masters Ryan Klaus and Kenny Kuhn. The Garden City Parks and Recreation Department is seeking the Commission's approval to serve cereal malt liquor at the event. That's hard for me to say. Garden City Parks and Recreation and Downtown Vision directors have developed an alcohol service plan. The event area will be secured with barricades to create a safe environment. No one under 21 years of age will be allowed to attend or enter the event in the barricaded area. The staff will check identification to verify that participants are at least 21 years old. Once a participant's age is confirmed, they receive a lanyard with a tag that has spots for 3 cereal malt beverages, which they may choose to use. If a participant wishes to order an alcoholic beverage, they must visit the drink station where a GCPR employee will mark one of the drink spaces on their lanyard. Each person is limited to 3 drinks throughout the 4-hour event with no additional alcoholic beverages being sold at the event. Downtown Vision will provide non-police security and has submitted a safety and security plan as part of their special event application. A first aid station will also be available on site to address any medical issues. Parks and Rec Director Tisha Hurd contacted the Alcoholic Beverage Control State Agency to verify the plan's acceptability. ABC confirmed that the plan is legal and emphasized that the license location on the application must match the event location, and it does. Additionally, the representative stated that the state does not mandate a specific level of security and that each agency should provide a level of security with which they are comfortable. The alternatives before you today are the governing body may approve the request from Garden City Parks and Recreation to allow, under Code Section 6.1, possession, consumption, and sale of cereal malt beverages or alcoholic liquor at the Downtown Vision and Garden City Parks and Recreation partnered event, Street Sizzle and Sound, on June 4th, 2026 from 6 to 10 p.m. during Beef Empire Days. And then alternative 2, the governing body may not approve this event. May not approve the request. The staff recommendation is that the commission approve the request. Fiscal note, Downtown Vision will reimburse Garden City Parks and Recreation from their ticket sales $3 per alcoholic beverage for a total of $900. Any questions for me?
Sounds like a fun event. It's something brand new and innovative.
Yeah. I think it'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Any further questions for Tisha? I'll entertain a motion for this item.
Move to approve the Parks and Recreation Department's request to allow under Code Section 6-1 possession, consumption, and sale of cereal malt beverages or alcoholic liquor at the Downtown Vision and Parks and Recreation partnered event, Street Sizzle and Sound, on June 4th, 2026 from 6 to 10 p.m. during Beef Empire Days.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right. Item 7, report of the city manager. These are all staff reports. Do you have questions over any of those? Hearing none, we'll go on to Section 8. These are the meetings of note. I would add that today at 5 p.m. is a ribbon cutting for Newman, and Senator Moran will be present. The refinery is the location. I don't believe an RSVP is required, but you've been invited to attend. So we'll add that to the list, and we've satisfied the notice that there's the potential that a majority of a quorum could be present by discussing it at this meeting. A lot of events are on there. I think several of the RSVPs have passed, but if there are some that haven't and you wish to go, please do those RSVPs through the city clerk's office. Item 9A is the appropriation ordinance. If you wish to approve that, the appropriate motion would be to approve ordinance number 2608-2026A.
I move to approve appropriation ordinance number 2608-2026A.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
The next business item is new business item A, 12A. The governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Great Plains Development, Inc. for the city membership and participation in the amount of $5,100. I'll turn it over to Bob Wetmore from Great Plains, who's present, and allow him to present. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. How many do I got here? 2. There you go. Yeah. Did one get in there? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners,
Good afternoon.
staff. My name is Bob Wetmore. I'm Executive Co-Director for Great Plains Development out of Dodge City. And yes, I have another co-director. She's not here today. Faye Trent has been with Great Plains, I think, 28 years. So she has been beat by a bunch, probably at least 10 years at this point. We, along with Hannah Sparks, our Associate Director, represent the 28 counties of Southwest Kansas. So if I might, I'll give you a little elevator pitch here just to remind you of the process that Great Plains does to help communities, counties, cities, small unincorporated areas even. We supply municipal grant assistance. So you've probably heard of community development block grants from the Department of Commerce, obviously, over the years. We've been the folks that have been the certified administrators to help with those. Excuse me, in the larger micropolitan areas like Garden City, we don't have a lot of opportunities for those programs, but once we get out into the smaller counties and the smaller cities, there are a lot of opportunities from sewer, water, streets. When you drive by Moscow, just know that they have a nice new sewer lagoon there, so we were responsible for that. There's a lot of infrastructure projects throughout the region. On top of that, if we're looking at an area like Garden City, we try to figure out ways to do what we call targeted projects. So sometimes there's ways, based on the beneficiaries, that we can get those people qualified, and we can actually do targeted areas. Another example here, locally in Holcomb out there from time to time, we'll actually do programs with them. Also, we're the folks that help with USDA rural development. We work with KDH&E. We work with the U.S. Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration. That's a long word. In fact, Great Plains is an economic development district for EDA. So just know that across the state and across the United States, there are districts like ours all across the country. We also maintain a state-level organization of that, which they couldn't find anybody else, so they got me to be president the last year. And we actually try to keep all of these programs in front of all of us and keep what we're doing with all the cities and counties together. And we pull Department of Commerce into that because one of the things we want to do is keep the communications going with what do we have out here, what do we need out here. Oh gosh, yes, Western Kansas is agriculture. Let us talk to you about agriculture and the importance of transportation. We work with all of those programs. The other hat that we wear is the small business loan hat. And when Great Plains was created, actually we were a merger of Greater Southwest, which happened to be out of Garden City here. Greater Southwest Development was an actual planning commission back then, and 9 counties was out of Pratt, and the 2 of them got together and formed Great Plains Development. The one out of Pratt was a certified development company for SBA. So can you see how one was a planning commission out here, one was a loan agency, and they combined together. And in a very neat way, we're both out here. Where you go into some of the areas in the eastern side of the state, you'll find them separated out. We happen to do it all in one place. If you go to your summary sheet there, real quickly, since the last time I spoke to you, that was the end of last summer, at the beginning of the fall, we had a number of loans that were approved and came through. Currently, we've had 4 applications, and actually I put 2 new loan awards, which means I typed 3 first and then realized there were only 2. So we've had 2 loan awards in the last few months. We have several going on now. Just know that there's a very large project that we were able to squeeze through in the last few weeks, and it's great. I wish I could talk about some of these things, but we're constrained from talking about it. There is a large project that's been approved, and we're very happy with that. We work closely with Lana, Grant, and staff. And just know that we work so closely with them, it's not unusual for us to say, let's just call over here, or they'll just call over to us, or we'll show up at either place. What we'll do is see where we're at with the project. Does it need financing? Does it need anything that we can do to help? If it needs financing, then we figure out, okay, what are the best ways to do it? You do have a list of all those loan sources in the back of your packet. You've got a sheet that folds out there, the big sheet. There are several that are good right here in Garden City. And know that we also assist Garden City area industrial development, GCAID as we call them. In fact, just this morning I was doing some GCAID work before I came over here. You have had GCAID as a public finance entity with the ability to provide loans. I found documents the other day. We have documents back as far as 1967. So be proud of the fact that way back then, community leaders pulled together a large revolving loan fund to help with that. So we have those. We have Network Kansas funds. We help Lana, Grant, Steve, and staff with e-community loan funds, which are smaller Network Kansas funds. We have bigger Network Kansas loan funds called Grow Kansas. We've done several of those over here. And then Great Plains, we have our own funds available also. Just a footnote, the funds that we ended up sending back to the Department of Commerce, the CDBG revolving loan funds that were both at the city and the county level, they're still there. We actually have access to them. So just know if for some reason we thought we had a loan that would work and some of the other loan funds didn't fit, we can actually apply, doing the same thing we did here, apply at the state level, do the local review, and send it on to the Department of Commerce. So that's still available also. One last thing. Starting last October at our annual meeting, we began to pull together what we call a Regional Excellence Initiative, and this is all of us across the state saying we were going to do this together and separately out in our regions. But I've put some of the results of just discussions that we've had at the regional level here about, okay, everybody blue sky and tell us what you see as needs for your area. And we had people from all different walks of life, from education to business to government. We just started the process, but I thought I'd include some of those results. We're working toward a 5-year, Great Plains does 5-year strategy planning. This would be my 4th one that we put together for EDA. We worked through the summer on this. We've included folks from over here. And by the way, thank you so much for having Dan Fankhauser as a member for Great Plains. Dan was involved in that project. Dan is also our president of Great Plains Board. And at the county level, and yes, yesterday the county very generously paid for half of our voluntary dues, and we appreciate that. But just yesterday, we also talked out loud. Dwayne Drees is one of our board members, and so is Mike Hughes. So we're probably overloaded with Garden City people on our board, but just know we're well represented, and they remind us all the time what the needs are over here. So kind of to wrap up, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'd like to say thank you so much for your voluntary dues over the years. We get no money from the Department of Commerce anymore. That ended 3 years ago, for the first time in decades, actually. And actually, there's a piece of legislation that established that, but we'll forget about that for right now. Just know that the funding has gone away for that. So if you would consider that for another year, the county generously does have, and we put a cap on it of $10,200. It's 34 cents per capita, but that makes the number quite large. So we've always had a cap, and we haven't changed that for, it's been at least since COVID, 5 years, since we raised that a little. Questions, thoughts, comments?
Any questions for Bob?
Are you recruiting board members? I see that you have almost about a quarter of your board is open.
A quarter of our board's open. Here's what, there's been, not so much here, there has been a loss of economic development directors across the region. In fact, we were talking about that the other day, and there were, I think we had 3 economic development directors. They were all female. We've lost them just within the last few months. So know that we're back out at that membership, looking at who we might be able to recruit.
Okay.
So the answer is we'll recruit anyone, honestly. But it was sad to lose those people because they
Sure.
were really good.
Seeing no further questions, I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I move to approve the Great Plains Development Incorporated membership agreement in the amount of $5,100.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I do have a signature sheet for you, Matt.
Okay. Item 12B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve ratifying the 2026-2027 Strategic Goals and Objectives Plan.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. The governing body met for a multi-day retreat on February 23rd and March 3rd. The outcome of the 2-day retreat was a prioritized list of goals and objectives for the upcoming 12 to 18 months. Staff has arranged the items into themed goal groupings and identified the portion of the organization responsible for each identified item. Each goal area contains a set of objectives sorted from the highest priority to the lowest priority based on the dot exercise portion of the retreat. Finally, staff has identified next steps associated with each objective. Staff requests the governing body review the draft 2026-2027 Strategic Goals and Objectives Plan and either approve it as presented or with modifications. Staff will begin using the approved plan to prepare the 2027 departmental budget requests and the 2027 city manager's proposed budget. If any objectives are added to the list, staff will draft actionable steps for those items and present an update to the governing body at the next meeting. There are 3 alternatives before you. 1, the governing body may ratify the 2026-2027 Strategic Goals and Objectives Plan as presented. 2, the governing body may modify the 2026-2027 Strategic Goals and Objectives Plan. Or 3, the governing body may not ratify the plan and provide staff with alternative direction. Staff recommends the governing body ratify the 2026-2027 Strategic Goals and Objectives Plan as presented, and there is no fiscal note associated with this item. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for staff?
I move to approve and ratify the 2026-27 Strategic Goals and Objectives Plan as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 12C, the governing body is asked to consider and accept the low bid for the purchase of a 2026 vacuum excavator for the electric department. Jose.
Good evening, good afternoon. Currently, the electric department operates a 2017 vacuum excavator that has accumulated over 1,200 working hours. This equipment has proven to be an essential and reliable tool for safe and efficient excavation, particularly when working around underground facilities and critical infrastructure. However, this unit is now nearly 9 years old and beginning to show signs of wear and tear, normal wear and tear. As the equipment continues to age, maintenance needs and repair costs are expected to increase, and the risk of downtime becomes more significant. Staff has also contacted the equipment manufacturer to evaluate the condition of the current vacuum excavator and obtain an estimate cost to rebuild the unit. The manufacturer estimated that a full rebuild would cost approximately $40,000. Given the age of the equipment and the likelihood that additional repairs will continue to arise, staff does not recommend investing additional funds into rebuilding the existing unit. Instead, purchasing a new vacuum excavator is considered a more reliable and cost-effective long-term solution. Additionally, as the workload continues to increase, the demand for this equipment has grown significantly, resulting in limited availability and scheduling constraints. Purchasing an additional vacuum excavator will provide much-needed capacity, reduce downtime, and allow multiple crews to operate simultaneously when necessary. Bid solicitations were advertised and submitted to Utility Equipment Sales, LLC, Contractor Solutions, Ditch Witch, Vermeer, Key Office, and Supply. The city currently operates a Ring-O-Matic vacuum excavator, which has proven to be a reliable and durable unit. It is simple to operate, and city crews are familiar with the operation and maintenance. Based on staff's positive experience with the equipment and the bids received, staff recommends awarding the purchase to Utility Equipment Sales LLC for the lowest Ring-O-Matic 850DX model bid in the amount of $115,378.05, as it meets all specifications and provides the best value for the city. Alternatives listed in front of you are: the governing body may award the bid to Utility Equipment Sales LLC for $115,378.05. The governing body may select an alternative bid as submitted. The governing body may reject all bids and redirect staff. Recommendations: staff recommends the governing body approve awarding the bid to Utility Equipment Sales LLC for $115,378.05. Fiscal note: funding for this purchase will be drawn from the 2026 new equipment budget, GL code 50151511-6520. The original 2026 budget for this GL code is $10,000. In the revised 2026 budget, staff are proposing to increase this line item to $200,000 to cover this expense, as well as future replacement of a service body truck that is no longer operational due to engine and computer issues. Additionally, staff has reduced the streetlight line item from $450,000 to $75,000 in the revised 2026 budget, freeing up $375,000 to help cover the remaining costs of this expense. If the purchase is approved, the remaining balance in the revised 2026 equipment budget would be $84,621.95. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Jose?
So this model is similar to what staff uses currently, so they...
Yes, this is the exact same model
Okay.
that we're currently using right now.
Okay.
Any further questions?
I move to award the bid from Utility Equipment Sales LLC for $115,378.05.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Item 12D, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the 2028 KDOT City Connecting Link Improvement Program Agreement.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. So on March 18th, 2025, the governing body authorized staff to submit a grant application to the Kansas Department of Transportation, or KDOT, for the City Connecting Link Improvement Program, also known as CCLIP program, for the fiscal year 2028. The program funds improvements to city connecting links defined as portions of the state highway system within the city's corporate limits. The proposed project includes pavement restoration along Fulton Street, US 50 Business from 3rd Street to Washington Street. On July 28th of 2025, KDOT awarded the grant to the City of Garden City, and the award was presented to the governing body on August 19th, 2025. KDOT has allocated $1.5 million for the 2028 project, and this includes the preliminary engineering, construction, and construction engineering. The city is required to provide a minimum 15% local match, and any exceeding cost of the funds that would cover right-of-way and any utility expenses that would be on the city. The agreement with KDOT is attached and requires the mayor's signature, and will then be sent to the KDOT for the required signatures. Two alternatives in front of you today is one, the governing body may approve the 2028 CCLIP agreement with KDOT and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement, or two, the governing body may not approve the CCLIP agreement and redirect staff. The recommendation is the staff recommends the governing body approve the 2028 CCLIP agreement with KDOT. The fiscal note on this is funding for the 2028 CCLIP project. It remained unchanged from what was presented to the governing body on March 18th, 2025. The city's required 15% local match is estimated at $265,000, which will be budgeted in the 2027-2028 fiscal year. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Tyler? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I move to approve the 2028 CCLIP agreement with KDOT and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 12E, the governing body is asked to reject the bid for the 2026 street mill and overlay.
So on January 30th, staff solicited bids, January 30th, 2026, for this 2026 street mill and overlay project. The proposed work represented a scaled-back version of the year one street evaluation and maintenance recommendations that were prepared by professional engineering consultants, also known as PEC. Staff reviewed the streets recommended by PEC for the mill and overlay and removed select segments that, based on visual inspection, were determined to be in a condition to defer in order to reduce the cost for the overall project. The adjustments were made in response to the previous fiscal year 2025 mill and overlay bid, which exceeded the expectations that could not be accommodated within the available material street repair budget. One bid was received on March 3rd, 2026 from Clot Sand Company Incorporated in the amount of $596,029.12. Based on historical costs, staff estimated the project at approximately $350,000. However, due to increasing costs, the submitted bid exceeded the estimate in the 2026 budget by 70%, or approximately $245,000. Moving forward, staff does anticipate reducing the expenditures on the crack in the chip sealing in order to reallocate those funds to the mill and overlay projects on streets that have been identified as areas that need immediate attention. Three alternatives for you. One, the governing body may reject the bid submitted for $596,029.12 from Clot Sand Company Incorporated. Two, the governing body may authorize staff to further reduce the scope of the year one mill and overlay to complete only a portion of the mill and overlay improvements and rebid the project. Or three, the governing body may provide alternative direction to staff. And the recommendation here is staff recommends that the governing body reject the bid that was submitted for $596,029.12 from Klotz Sand Company Incorporated. On the fiscal note, the combined available balance for the street and special traffic way funds, material street repair funds, after the street department completes its planned 2026 projects, that includes concrete, asphalt, sidewalk repairs, and also alley maintenance material, would be approximately $294,490.10. The remaining balance in the special traffic way account will be carried over into the 2027 fiscal year budget allocated toward mill and overlay projects. I'll have to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Tyler? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I make a motion that we reject the bid submitted for the $596,029.12 from Klotz Sand Incorporated.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.
Item 12F, the governing body is asked to consider and approve electric rate adjustment considerations. Mike.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. I'll forward, and this is a rather lengthy memo, lots of numbers and percentages, but bear with me. So the governing body approved the fiscal year 2025 electrical budget, department budget on September 3rd, 2024. This budget projected revenues of $43,213,650 with a total expenditures of $42,198,815. The actual revenue in 2025 was $41,704,510.68, or $1,509,139.32 below budget. And the total expenses were $46,529,415.46, or $4,333,600.46 over what the budget was set by the commission. And then on February 3rd, 2026, the governing body approved resolution number 3216, 2026, declaring that a financial emergency did not exist for the city of Garden City. However, it was noted that the electric utilities revenues were below budget due to delays in anticipated commercial customers coming online during the year and the failure to receive grant funding reimbursements for incurred project costs. Expenses in the electric utility exceeded budget due to various factors, including additional development costs not originally anticipated, increased in wholesale power costs, and higher capital purchase expenses. The electric utility had adequate revenues and a cash balance to cover the expenses beyond the original budget. The electric utility had a cash balance of $683,242 as of December 31, 2025, and it had a capital reserve cash balance of $5,152,850. On February 17th, 2026, during day one of the governing body's annual goal-setting retreat, Director Muirhead and myself presented information regarding the 2025 electric budget that included, one, the revenue shortfall was due to retail electric sales, kilowatt hours, lower industrial and commercial production, and a decline in peak demand changes in the projected development of load profile. Reimbursements for federal and state electrical system improvement grants were not received as expected as well. Part two of that was expense overruns included high power supply costs due to increased transmission costs and market purchases during unplanned outages at the Dogwood Energy Facility, in which Garden City is a participant. In addition to the increased cost of power supply, we also experienced higher material costs, inflation, and supply chain manufacturing disruptions, driving up prices for transformers, conductors, poles, substations, and other inventory items. The overall wholesale power cost for Garden City will continue to rise, with the projections from 2026 through 2031 showing an additional increase of 11.4%. Of this increase, 33% of it is related to network transmission costs. In addition to power supply costs rising, the major build-out across the United States to meet growing demand is also driving up distribution equipment costs. This includes, like stated earlier, transformers, switchgear, distribution feeders, and substations. Besides the rising costs, Garden City, like all electric utilities, is facing ongoing supply chain bottlenecks and increased risk due to volatility and procurement restraints. So with reduced revenues in 2025 and projected increased expenditures in power supply and transmission costs over the next 5 years, and additional rate adjustments are required. And on February 17th, I presented the following considerations to the governing body. One was consideration of a 5% increase in retail rates effective May 1st, 2026, and an additional 5% increase on January 1, 2027 to conduct a full cost of service study in the year of 2027. This would take 2026 being the test year, which would generate what needs to happen going down the road. This would generate approximately $876,000 in 2026 and an additional $2,783,000 in 2027 for a total increase in revenue from May of 26 through December of 27 of roughly $3.7 million. If this increase is approved by the governing body, the average residential customer would see an additional $5 per month increase in 2026 and then an additional $5 per month increase in 2027. The other consideration is considering reestablishing a power cost adjustment clause. This was last used in 2012 in the city of Garden City. That would impact all customers where an increase of power supply in 1 month is recovered in the following month based upon a percentage of the increased cost. A PCA is a mechanism that utilities use to pass changes in the actual cost of generation onto the customers of the utility. It does make utility bills more volatile, but more closely tied to the actual power cost. This additional cost to customers would fluctuate from month to month and could possibly range anywhere from $0 impact to $75 or higher, depending upon what the cost was for the previous month of energy. Number 3 was consideration of increasing the monthly base charge or customer charge to cover most of what a PCA would do. The current monthly residential charge is $22.50 and would need to be raised by 42.2% to $32 per month for residential customers. For small commercial accounts, it would rise from $45 to $54.50 and increase from $90 to $99.50 for all large commercial accounts to recover the same amount that the 5% in energy charges and impacts every user equally, regardless of how many kilowatt hours they actually use. In addition to whatever rate adjustments are made, staff will also include a fee schedule in all future large load, anything greater than 3 megawatts, in development agreements, which will include provisions for delays or non-occurrence and for overstated or understated project load for a period of 5 years. So with that, if they come in and say they're going to use 5 megawatts and they actually don't, they will actually be charged that for 5 years, or if they come in and say they're going to use 5 and they actually use 10, they'll pay that increase. By adjusting electric retail rates now, this will offset the expected increase in wholesale power supply and transmission charges through fiscal year 2027, with a complete review of the rate structures of power supply and transmission costs moving forward in 2028. So your alternatives, 1, the governing body may direct staff to prepare the necessary ordinances that increase retail kilowatt hour charges by 5%, effective May 1st, 2026, and again on January 1st, 2027. Alternative number 2, the governing body may direct staff to prepare the necessary ordinance to create a monthly power cost adjustment formula that would adjust the preceding month's actual energy cost to the current monthly kilowatt hour cost based upon the usage of the current monthly utility statement effective May 1st, 2026. Alternative 3, the governing body may direct staff to prepare the necessary ordinances to increase the current monthly charges from $9.50 increase customer charges by $9.50 for all customer classes, and that would be in effect on May 1st, 2026. Number 4, the governing body may direct staff to any one or a combination of the suggested 5% kilowatt increase, the creation of a PCA, or adjusting the current monthly charges and provide an effective date of implementation. Or number 5, the governing body may direct staff to leave the current retail rates as is and provide additional alternatives. Staff recommends that the governing body direct staff to any one of the 5 alternatives listed above. Then as a fiscal note, as of this writing, the fiscal year 2026 electrical fund revenues are slightly above projections and expenditures are 16% of what projections and are within the 2026 approved budget. So that's good news. So the pace of the revenues and expenditures are better than they were in 2025. An increase in retail electric rates or establishing a power cost adjustment or an increase in the customer charge will generate the revenue to cover the forecasted operating expenses while replenishing cash reserves and meeting debt obligations. And that's a lot of numbers and a lot of stuff. I appreciate your patience and me walking through all of that. And I'm happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mike?
You said that there was not received on improvement grants. There was some money not received on that. Do you have an amount on that or just an estimate?
Yes, the total grant, part of it comes from the Department of Energy, part of it comes from the Kansas Corporation Commission, totals $928,000. We just submitted we just got recognition that they're going to approve our first application of back of like $450,000. So that will be coming into the 2026 revenue line in addition to the other expenditures that we'll have with that. So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
If we increase 5% now, there would be another increase in January 1st, 2027. Is that correct?
I guess that's the
first.
Okay. It'll be effective May 1st, 2026, and then again in January 1 of 2027. Those are considered shoulder months, so that you don't have your air conditioner blowing full blast during that time, so you're not getting a huge increase, but it's still an increase either way, but it's not quite as dramatic.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of complicated factors that this falls into to why the projection of the expenses was different from the reality. But I also was thinking just in price increases in general that a PCA is kind of difficult for families who kind of have a fixed income and those who are budgeting to go from a lower budget month to a higher budget month, and sure that I think they can go along throughout the month and figure, oh, we used all of our extras this month. But I think a more fixed increase would be a bit easier for them to manage than those who are on a fixed income to see that volatile range.
How would this be communicated to the customers who are utilizing the services? Like, whichever one of the alternatives is chosen, how would that be communicated to the public?
It would be communicated through our communications department, okay. And of course, we're more than happy to answer any questions they may have, and through this avenue, having a open discussion.
I think you're asking more of.
Well, I know that people are always like, well, I'm not on Facebook, or I didn't see the meeting and stuff, so I didn't know if there'd be an insert or something in the bill, although a lot of people now go to electronic billing, but.
We could certainly work with Service and Finance to see if we could stick an insert in the next utility.
Sure, just something I think that would help with those who just aren't on social media and, may not watch.
It's a difficult issue to address, and kind of going back on what you said, there's not a real reason for sure why. I mean, there's a little bit of everything, but at the end, something needs to be done. So it's going to be a hard one.
Mike, on a little side tangent here, for the fee schedule for the bigger commercial developments, those the 3 megawatts or greater, those provisions, what will they look like to me? Because in my head, I'm thinking if we have them pay, if it's understated and then they need to pay that excess, how does that work on the opposite, on the converse, where that's overstated and, sorry, it's overstated and they use less, but if it's understated and they use more, how would that affect their fee schedule there?
How would it affect their fee schedule?
Yes, yeah.
In a large commercial?
Yes, particularly for those who understate and end up using more megawattage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say some business XYZ comes in and says they're going to use, let's just make a number,
Sure.
5 megawatts of power. And so we, the city, will go out and we'll make sure we have that 5 megawatts of capacity and energy available. If they come in and say, oh, we made a mistake, now it's going to be 8, we have to pay for that, and there will be an additional cost to that. So the rate structure that they were placed upon when they said they had the 5 megawatts would not be adequate to cover the additional. So that would be passed on to that particular customer. That's what being proposed to put in the development agreement.
Okay.
And the same if they understate, if they say, well, we're going to use 5 and only use 2, well, same thing, we went out and obtained all that capacity, and now somebody's going to pay for it. This is the first time we ran into that here in Garden City. That particular statement is not uncommon in all the large utilities. Evergy has all of the big ones have something like that in their rate structure.
Is there any further discussion or questions for Mike? I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I make a motion that we direct staff to prepare the necessary ordinances that increase retail kilowatt charges by 5% effective by May 1st, 2026, then again on January 1st, 2027.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just want to reiterate what Commissioner Euler noted, that probably need to really communicate this out to the community. I think this is probably the less painful way to increase the rates. I know we need to increase them, but we need to communicate this as effectively as possible too, just to let everybody know.
Yeah.
We'll do everything we can.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was hard.
Item 12G, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the First Amendment to the K-156 Corridor Master Plan Agreement between the Kansas Department of Transportation, Finney County, and City of Garden City.
Good afternoon again, Mayor and Commissioners. On September 15th, 1999, the Finney County Board of Commissioners agreed with the Kansas Department of Transportation and the City of Garden City regarding transportation management parameters on the K-156 corridor as it extended through the urban areas of the northeastern corporate limits of the city and extended further northeast into the unincorporated areas of Finney County. This was captured in an agreement titled K-156 Master Plan Garden City Corridor System, Finney County, further referred to as the K-156 Master Plan. The purpose of this plan was to define the parameters for transportation management, access control, and access management along this designated portion of K-156. At the joint meeting of the City and County Commissions on April 28, 2025, the two entities discussed the need to reach a new agreement with KDOT as development is set to occur east of Jenny Barker Road, Mary Street, and the K-156 intersection. At the May 20th, 2025 meeting, the governing body directed staff to work with Finney County and KDOT to develop an updated agreement to present to the respective governing bodies, and that formal request was submitted in June of 2025. Since that time, the respective staffs have been working together on specific language of the agreement, which is now ready to be considered by you all today. The agreement is intended to support future growth preserve transportation mobility, and preserve additional access opportunities while maintaining KDOT oversight and corridor management. The County Commission did consider this at their meeting yesterday, and they did approve the agreement as presented. There are three alternatives before you. One, the governing body may approve the First Amendment to the K-156 Corridor Master Plan Agreement between the Kansas Department of Transportation, Finney County, and the City of Garden City. Two, the governing body may not approve the amendment. Or three, the governing body may provide alternative direction. Staff does recommend approval of the First Amendment as presented. There is no fiscal note associated with this item. I am happy to answer any questions, and I'll pull up the map because I think the map makes it a little bit easier to understand the additional access points that this agreement would allow for as we continue to see development happen along this corridor.
I move to approve the First Amendment to the K-156 Corridor Master Plan Agreement between the Kansas Department of Transportation, Finney County, and the City of Garden City.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 12H, the governing body is asked to consider and approve an addendum to the existing master service agreement with Revere Healthcare Solutions, Inc. to extend mental wellness services. Jared.
Colleen.
I'm sorry, Colleen. Hi.
Yep. Good afternoon, Commissioners and Mayor. At the April 1st, 2025 City Commission meeting, the governing body approved a master service agreement with Revere Healthcare Solutions Incorporated. RHS to provide services through the Growwell Clinic through November 30th, 2028. In addition, in the same meeting, the governing body approved an addendum to the then current master service agreement with the RHS to continue mental health services, as well as an addendum to the new agreement to continue providing mental wellness services through June 30th, 2026. The provision of mental wellness services was first added as an addendum to the master service agreement during the COVID-19 pandemic, when grant funding was utilized to cover the cost of the addition of this service. Once the grant funding was no longer available, the City Commission elected to continue the provision of mental wellness services by utilizing the funding from the city's health insurance fund, which is funding through the city's contribution to health insurance benefits for staff as well as employee contributions. RHS staff and city staff have regularly met and reviewed the utilization of the mental wellness services provided by RHS. In 2024, the utilization of the mental wellness services was an average of 83 visits per month. In 2025, the average utilization was 68 visits per month, with an uptick experienced at the end of the year. January and February 2026 have averaged 94 visits per month. The utilization continues to show a demand for the services and indicates that ongoing services remain beneficial to city staff and their dependents. At this time, RHS has requested a new addendum to the master service agreement to be approved. The addendum provides 82 mental wellness visits per month to city staff at an annual lump sum cost of $126,000 or a monthly cost of $10,500. The visits would be capped at 82 scheduled visits per month, and therefore no cost above and beyond the established amount would be experienced. If additional visits are scheduled in a given month beyond the 82 covered visits or any carryover credit, this will be at the sole discretion of RHS, and no compensation from the city will be due for these visits. The addendum provides that if the city elected to pay with a lump sum payment, and a particular month has less than the full 82 visits used, either a credit for the additional visits would be applied to the following month, or credit will be provided to the city at a rate of $130 per visit and will be accounted for as a reduction in the monthly base fee for services provided by RHS. The previous addendums were each approved for a 12-month term to allow flexibility should the city elect to discontinue the mental wellness services. After review and discussion, staff feel the ongoing provision of the services is a valuable resource for the well-being of staff and their dependents and don't anticipate discontinuation of the services. To that end, they requested RHS provided an addendum with a term to align with the remaining term of the master service agreement. Addendum A2 would take effect on July 1st, 2026, and would be in effect for 29 consecutive months until November 30th, 2028, aligning with the remaining term of the master service agreement. The cost of the mental wellness services outlined in the addendum is $126,000 for 2026, $126,000 for 2027, and $52,500 for July through November 28th, for a total commitment of $304,500 over the term, with each payment being included in the July invoice of the applicable year. Alternatives. So the governing body may approve addendum A2 to the master service agreement with Revere Healthcare Services to continue mental health services, electing to pay through lump sum payments to receive the benefit of the credit for any unused visits. Or two, the governing body may not approve the addendum. Recommendations. So staff recommends that the governing body approve the addendum. And the fiscal note, the costs for mental wellness services were included in the allocation of the ARPA funds in 2021 and 2022, and partially paid for using ARPA funds in 2023. Since that point, the cost of the mental wellness services has been included in the city's health insurance fund, which is funded through the city's contribution to health insurance benefits of staff and employee contributions. The 2026 budget included the anticipated cost of the continuation of mental health services, mental wellness services being included in the cost for the operation of the Gurwell Clinic. This cost will be included in the 2027 original budget and will be planned to be incorporated into 2028. The language of the addendum does include a non-appropriation clause that allows for the cancellation of the services without being obligated for payment, should the governing body not appropriate funds for such in their future budgets as required under Kansas law.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I make a motion that the governing body may approve the addendum A2 to the master service agreement with Revere Healthcare Services to continue mental wellness services, electing to pay through lump sum payments to receive the benefit of the credit of any unused visits.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
12I, the governing body is asked to consider and approve an appointment to the Cultural Relations Board.
Good afternoon again, Mayor and Commissioners. The Cultural Relations Board consists of 9 members appointed by the governing body. The CRB is charged with advising the governing body on matters related to minority communities within the city, to monitor the policies and practices of the city to ensure fair and equitable application, and to act as a resource for intercultural awareness, education, and celebration among all people. There is currently 1 vacant position on CRB that expires December 31st of 2026. Brittany Martin has submitted an application to fill that vacant position. There are 2 alternatives before you. 1, the governing body may appoint Brittany Martin to fill the unexpired term ending December 31st, 2026, or 2, the governing body may not make that appointment. Staff recommends the governing body appoint Brittany Martin to fill the unexpired term ending December 31st of 2026, and there is no fiscal impact related to this item.
Any questions for staff? I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I move to appoint Brittany Martin to fill the unexpired term ending December 31st, 2026.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Mayor, the consent agenda item is up next. We do know that we have folks here for 13G, so that item would be pulled off. You may check and see if there's other items that need to be pulled off.
Besides item 13G, is there anyone here for nuisance items?
I'd like to discuss 13D.
You say B?
D as in Delta or dog.
Thank you. So we will move 13D and 13G.
So your choice, Mayor, if you want to take those in order, in reverse order, or do the consent agenda first, which would you like?
Let's do the consent agenda first.
Okay. The appropriate motion then would be consent agenda items 13A through C, E through F, H, and I.
I move to approve consent agenda items 13A through C, 13E and F, and 13H and I.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Would you like to take up 13G first?
Yes, can we take up 13G first, if that's okay?
Yeah, item 13G, the governing body is asked to consider and approve abatement of nuisance conditions at 1514 North 9th Street pursuant to Section 38-139 of the Environmental Code of Ordinances. Trent, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. So before you today is a nuisance violation. It is required for them to maintain their property according to the Environmental Code. This is address related to 1514 North 9th. On the property, there is a desk, tarp, black liners, miscellaneous wood pile up and outside, or piled up outside of the property. Staff has visited the property on many occasions. Property owner and residents were notified through a courtesy letter sent on February 26, 2026, and a certified order of violation sent on March 20th, 2026. The property owner and the residents were unable to be reached. No contact was attempted by the property owners according to Section 38-137 of the Environmental Code of Ordinances, and have neither abated the nuisance conditions nor requested a hearing before the governing body. There are alternatives before you. Alternative 1, the governing body may approve the abatement of nuisance conditions. Number 2, the governing body may not approve the abatement of nuisance conditions. Staff recommends approving the abatement of the nuisance conditions. And the fiscal note, any cost incurred by the city will be charged against the lot or parcels on the ground in which the nuisance is located. And as Matt stated, we do have property owners that live there here. So.
Yes, if the property owners would like to make a statement, could you guys also please state your name for the record?
Yeah, my name is Juanita Carr, and I am the property owner. And the letter came, okay, it was dated February 26th, and it was addressed to my deceased husband, Norman Carr Jr., at the address 1514 North 9th, which had the fire. We had a fire on August 3rd, and I was not able to live in that property after the fire because it was uninhabitable. Okay, so, and then September, I had my knee totally replaced. Anyway, I am in the process of trying to sell the property, but the letter, I did not get it until March. Your surgery was March 5th. I didn't get the letter until March 4th, and I had to go to the post office to pick it up. They wouldn't even forward it to my new address because it was in my husband's name. So, and I'm not trying to make any excuses, but I have a problem with going back to the property. We lived in that house for 30 years, and I have anxiety issues when I go over there. But I'm just asking that you give me maybe 10 more days, a couple of weeks, and I will get over there and clean it up. And it does not look like that today because we drove down the alley and the backyard does not look like that at all.
Those big items are not there. All that's there is that wood.
Is the wood along the fence line.
Yeah, none of that other is there.
I will get it cleaned up if you would give me a little more time. Because, I mean, today is not a good day for me either because it's 6 years today that my husband passed.
I'm sorry.
And so I am really...
She's holding it together the best she can.
I really am needing a little more time, please.
Sure.
Yeah. Juanita, thank you. I know this is incredibly tough. I can't imagine how much it would be like for you. Yeah. But ma'am, can I also have your name just for the record?
Susan Mitchell, and she's
you.
my sister, and and my support right now.
I'm glad.
Because, I mean, it is hard, very hard.
We understand.
After
Yes.
the fire, I had to force her to go back and
Wow.
go through everything and get what she needed.
Sure.
Well,
So-
Trent, on something like this, how long, I mean, is it kind of at the discretion of the commission, or is there something that you guys?
Probably just because it's an open item for you. Beforehand, if we had some communication, we do offer extensions, and so I think the extension is very reasonable.
What's the usual, or the average extension that you would offer?
Every 2 weeks, so 14 days, and then we revisit. If there's progress made, we've extended it past that if we needed to.
Would 14 days give you enough time?
We could probably follow up at the
even-
next, at the May 5th commission meeting, just to make sure.
how about we give
That would
it
be enough
until
time.
May 5th?
Yep.
About a month.
Shy of a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Preferably the week before, just because we're creating the item.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to go 21 days or something to that effect.
Let me look at this calendar.
14 days, we'll work with them. If it's all but done, maybe we want to create another item unless you want it to come back. But if you do put it for May 5th compliant date, what we take photos of and prepare for the week before may not be 100% accurate by the time it's done.
So would we want to push it out to May 19th? Or is that too far out? Just to be fair.
I do have somebody interested in buying that. I do have somebody interested in buying my property, buying the house, and he will be knocking it down, and hopefully he can salvage the basement to rebuild on. And I'm just waiting on the realtor to give me a closing date on that.
Sure.
And
But I will clean up the backyard.
Okay.
I think for, these purposes, the May 4th, pushing it to the May 4th date, Trent, if you'll get contact information, I think there's a group that we can contact to help on the outside stuff. While the property was under fire, that's a separate code issue. That's not being what's considered here. This is simply abating the condition in the yard, and I think we can find a group to take care of what's left there. Community groups that do this type of stuff for folks that ask for help. So by May 4th, that should be plenty of time for that to happen. So I think just taking no action on this item, if it, for whatever reason, isn't abated by May 4th, we'll put it back on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you guys wait around just a minute?
Yeah, sure. And we have people that,
We will have.
Great.
we have people that we can get it all cleaned up.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other one was 13D, right? 13D. The governing body is asked to consider and approve abatement of nuisance conditions at 819 Bancroft Street pursuant to Section 3863 of the Environmental Code.
Now, I wasn't prepared for this one, so I don't have the individual. There we go, the background. All right. So we have a black truck vehicle that is part of our inoperable vehicle ordinance. We have 2 notices that were sent out, one February 26, 2026, and that was a courtesy letter. Second one, certified order of violation sent out March 20th. The property owner contacted our office regarding the vehicle and left a voicemail requesting a return call. Call was returned, yet there was still no answer and no discussion that happened. The certified order violation was then sent. No further contact was made by the property owner. The vehicle was removed from the jack, but no proof of registration provided according to the 38137 of the Environmental Code of Ordinances, and have neither abated the nuisance conditions nor requested a hearing before the governing body. So your alternatives before you are alternatives 1, the governing body may approve abatement of the nuisance conditions, and alternative number 2, the governing may not approve the abatement of the nuisance conditions. Staff recommends the governing body approve the abatement conditions pursuant to Section 3863 of the Environmental Code of Ordinances and the fiscal note, any abatement costs incurred by the city will be charged against the lot of parcels on which the motor vehicle is found or located.
So I drove by this. I mean, it's in a carport area. It's on concrete. You have to, I mean, it's not on a front street area. I mean, there's other, if you do a kind of a around the block type of thing, there's other properties that have this. But if the gate was closed, you wouldn't be able to see this because you literally, I drove around the block to try to figure out how to get back there, and I finally drove down the alleyway, and then I figured out, you know, you had to get down the alleyway. It was just my concern that it's like, it's in a carport, it's on concrete, it's hidden. I was just, that's my only thing. And if the gate was closed, you wouldn't be able to see this particular item.
Yeah, and
I mean, I get that.
Mistaken, the gate would have been open.
Yeah.
We don't jump over fences or.
No, I get it. I'm just, and I get that it's probably inoperable because of all the other issues, but I was just, I mean, it's in a carport and everything, so I didn't.
And I think your concern is fair, and
I mean, how far do we go on, I guess my thing is, there's other items where I understand where the others are. If you look at the other items and things, it is kind of a blight. You understand that they aren't operable. This probably isn't operable, but I mean, they're sitting in the front yard or in an unimproved area, which we do have some items, but I don't know, it just caught me off where it was like, I mean, I guess how far do you go? And the other thing is if the gate's closed, then no foul if you don't see it, I guess, or whatever, but still.
And I don't know if someone complained specifically on this address. Or
Right.
This is one of the group within the block.
Right.
And so, you know, bringing them before you helps drive this discussion.
Sure.
Where some of our items are going to just be black and white. So that.
But again,
We go as far as the code.
Right.
And
No,
the
I get
commission
it.
has the authority to adjust the code. Our inspections, as Trent mentioned, it is, we do not go out of our way to get a preferable camera angle or something like that.
Right.
If it's in plain sight, it's subject to from right-of-way, I think is our standard. From right-of-way, do we have a line of plain sight? Now, you know, from a practice, the commission could direct us to say, if there's a functional gate there, presume the gate's shut. Don't take the photo or don't do the observation
Right.
with the gate shut. That's a practice. That's not in the code. But as the code is currently written, the vehicle, while not nearly as an egregious of a violation as some of the pictures that you normally see, is in violation of the code.
Sure.
The commission would have the authority, you know, certainly the authority to say, hey, I don't know how the code would need to be written to keep something like this out of it, but I'm willing to stay the enforcement of this so that we could go investigate where we want to draw that line, if we want to draw it somewhere less restrictive than where it is now.
It just, I mean, I read the whole report, and then I looked at the picture, and then it just piqued my interest to see where it was at and how it sat. And then it took me a while, again, to try to figure out where it was, and then I figured out it was down the alley, so you had to drive down the alley, and then I drove by it, almost missed it, backed up, and then had to look. So it's like, it's not conspicuous. I mean, it's really not conspicuous, but I understand that it is code, and I understand it was brought to our attention. But for me, it was something that I thought, I mean, don't need to try to rewrite the code now from the bench or anything, but I just wanted, from my perspective, it just kind of.
I would say probably to add that though, when you do a single inspection within the block and your requirements to check the entire block as an inspector, she's probably even more critical, code enforcement officer, of the rest to make sure she's missed nothing, because that's the first complaint we get is, you cited me, yet my neighbor has this. So
Sure.
I think if
No, I
this
get
was a drive-by thing, probably no one would even have noticed it, but that would be my assumption of how it came to us.
I get what you're saying, but,
Yeah.
I think it's within the discretion of the
Yeah.
commission to say, if there's three commissioners that don't think this violates your interpretation of the code, I think that's why it comes to you. If you believe it violates the code, then you know, we'll enforce our job's to inspect it and take the picture.
Sure. No, you're doing your job. I just brought it to everyone's attention that I thought it was, from my perspective. I mean, again, you guys vote however you want to vote on it, but I just brought it up so I could pull it off, so I could just say, hey, this just looks, I mean, we're following the ordinance as written, I get it, but it was just, from my perspective, it's not out in the public's eye where we would see it, but again, it's an inoperative vehicle, so, but it's under shelter and it's on concrete, so.
Trent, so what are the ways to prove that a vehicle is inoperable or untagged? Is it simply just, obviously, right, if there's no tag on it, and then they would have to prove that it is a registered vehicle, et cetera, right? Are there any other?
Running, but usually it's
if it's running and untagged, it's still
missing something.
Yeah.
Like engine parts, the tires are off, or the tag. And so this one in the background, it was originally up on jacks, so that's what started it. They put it here, and within the letters it states to, communicate and how to provide evidence that they run. So I don't know if it does run. I don't know if they can get it registered. Some of those title work on some of the vehicles, it can kind of shift it around. Sometimes it's a little hard to get them registered.
So it was on jacks, but here it's not on jacks.
Correct.
No contact by the owner, but we can presume it would be a safe assumption by the fact that it's no longer on jacks and is on tires that the property owner's taken an action they might believe is bringing it into compliance. Trent?
Yeah, I would make that same assumption that they probably felt getting the wheels and tires back on it.
Compliance, yeah.
But yeah, to anyone watching, communication's a huge tool that we can use to clear things up.
it's very important to answer those letters if you get them in time to answer them, or come to the hearing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are there any further questions or discussion for this item? I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I make the motion that we approve not to approve the abatement of the nuisance conditions.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-1.
Thank you.
That wraps up the business. We're ready for commissioner reports.
City Commissioner reports. First up is Commissioner Euler.
All right, thank you. It's been a while since we've had a long 2-hour meeting, but a lot of good business, a lot of stuff. I just wanted, something that I just recently discovered on our website. I was asked to attend this presentation with a group of friends, and there's on our website, the city's website, the open finance page, which is under the financial services, and it is a wealth of information as far as transparency and as far as you can go in and you can look at all kinds of receipts, and you can look at all of the assets and liabilities, and just pull all kinds of reports, and it's something that's updated on a very regular basis. And when I showed this group of people, they were so impressed. So I'm sure that particular page has seen an increase in traffic in the last week. But it was just very well done, great information, and so I just wanted to make sure people knew that. The other thing is I've noticed that there are a lot of people that are using Tally Trail, which is great, or using our sidewalk systems, but not everybody is, when they cross at those lighted crossings, pushing the light. I was just panicked the other day. I saw somebody with strollers and kids, and they were crossing, but they didn't have the lights going on. And I thought, oh my gosh, I hope the people coming are going to stop. So please use the lighted crosswalks. It might mean you have to walk a half a block out of your way, but just please use those and use the lights, especially as the weather gets nicer. It will eventually get nicer and less windy, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Euler. Commissioner Canales-Lozano.
I want to say that I was really impressed by all of the earlier attendance in today's meeting. So I want to encourage everybody to stay involved, attend meetings, volunteer, or simply have conversations about what is happening in our community. Remind everybody that their voice does matter. Garden City is strong when everybody's engaged and connected. So thank you for everybody that came earlier today.
Thank you, Commissioner Canales-Lozano. Commissioner Cessna.
Attended a League of Kansas Municipalities meeting last week. Interesting to note that at the beginning of the meeting, we go around and just kind of see what's happening at all the communities, represent the largest of all cities down to really small communities as well. It's pretty interesting to see how we all pretty much have the same thing in common that we're all dealing with, but very interesting. So it's not just the big cities dealing with issues, it's also the very small communities as well, and it's the same thing if you really look at it. So kind of took that little nugget from the meeting, as well as dealing with the legislature. This is their veto session. They're in their veto session, so they've approved some items that are not too kind to cities and how we grow. So I just ask that we watch how the legislature votes during this session. I know the governor's vetoed a number of items, but always interesting to see how the legislature doesn't really work with the communities a lot. It was a marathon of proclamations during this commission meeting, but it shows that we have a lot of great things going on in our community. Just also, this is the last week of the spring cleanup, to let everybody know. The crews are out and about picking up those items. Friday is kind of a follow-up day, so if you didn't have any of the items picked up, just call the street department, and they will stop by your place and get those items. Also wanted to mention too that we have a number of workers out and about on doing sidewalks, as well as their street work, or our water crews are out fixing lines and everything. So please slow down as you're driving out and around the community, because we do have a lot of workers out this time of the year and enhancing our community. And that's all I've got. Thank you. Oh, one other item right quick. I just wanted to mention to the commission in the Kansas Journal, very good, an article about understanding voting procedures. It talks about how to vote, when to step down from the bench, but also how to, how many votes it takes to pass. Just kind of what the city manager noted, that it takes a majority, 3 out of 5. But good article in the Kansas Government Journal that just came out. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cessna.
Yeah.
Commissioner Landgraf.
I just want to start off by saying it's great having so many different groups, youth and staff here for the different proclamations. Each of these groups are the staff and their staff and our youth. They're all what makes our community so great. So it's great being able to honor each of them. I think I counted to have a total of 10 today. So it really is just great for that. Also, just want to say I think it's great that we're able to ratify and approve our strategic goals and objective plans. It's good to have these goals and plans to help guide us into the future. And also, if folks would like to see all of these different goals and plans, they are in the agenda packet. And I'm also sure that our staff will get these up and on the city website since they are now ratified and approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Landgraf. Yeah, happy Easter. What a joyous season for all of us to be in spring and to be refreshed during this time of year. I think the last 3 weeks has been pretty full for all of us since our last city commission meeting. It was so fun to be at the Citizens Academy, to be asked by our city manager to hop up there and advocate for the Northeast Interceptor through various humorous ways. And so that was awesome. And I also got the chance to speak at the Resist conference for middle school and high schoolers a couple weeks ago. And on that same day, a couple of us commissioners also hopped into a Black Hawk to really understand the mission of the National Guard and also their recruitment mission and how we can also advance that for them too. Yesterday, wow, that was yesterday. Yes, yesterday I joined Matt and Danielle for the USD 457 Teacher in Service for a group of high school teachers. It was fun to spend some time to see my previous high school teachers, but also to really understand what is important to them right now as educators, and also just an incredible witness to all of the youth that we have that are at the high school. I think that we are in a wave of all of these young people caring more than I think most people would expect and doing it well. Like, I think that is the beauty of this, is they are doing it well. With JROTC to be so distinguished, and with the wrestling team, their girls wrestling team, to win their state championship in a very young seed for girls wrestling. So this is, I think, 2 of the 3, if not 2 of 2, for the years of girls wrestling. So just incredibly important. But also a reminder for our next city commission meeting will be on April 28th, which is also our joint meeting with the county and other communities. I think that includes Holcomb, right? So reminder that it is April 28th and not the 3rd week in April. Other than that, that concludes our meeting. This meeting is adjourned.